Do a financial check before you cause a financial wreck. I'm David Bridgman, inviting you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm teaching my way through the 3 simple practices about money. Earn all you can, save all you can, give all you can. Today I want to talk about that second simple practice, save all you can. So open your Bible or your Bible app to Luke chapter 12. It's a story from Jesus about saving. Now, in our story, a person in the crowd shouts out to Jesus, complaining that his brother is not giving him a fair share of the family inheritance. Now, isn't that just like us? We want our fair share, and we want it now, and we complain if we don't get what we are sure is our fair share. Well, Jesus is a no-nonsense truth teller who jumps all over the complainer. Look at verse 15 where Jesus says, "Beware, guard against every kind of greed." There's an urgency in Jesus' tone, followed by this life truth in verse 15. Life is not defined by what you have. Did you catch that truth? Life is not defined by what you have. And as we roll that truth over in our head and our heart, Jesus dives into a story. Verse 16, the farm of a certain rich man produced a terrific crop. He talked to himself, "What can I do? My barn isn't big enough for this harvest. Here's what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger barns. Then I'll gather in all my grain and goods, and I'll say to myself, 'Self, you've done well. You've got it made and can now retire. Take it easy and have the time of your life.'" Now I want to be clear. The problem is not the abundance, nor is it the desire to save. The issue is that slippery slope of what I have is mine. We wreck our life on the rocks of selfishness when we ought to be checking ourselves with humility. So here comes a plan to live out the principle of save all you can. It's called the 10-10-80 plan. 10% of our income is dedicated to God. 10% of our income is dedicated to saving. 80% of our income is dedicated to daily living to glorify God. But too often we wreck our life on the rocks of an out-of-balance percentage. Most of us are spending over 90% of our income on our own wants and needs. Now back to the story of the successful farmer who did indeed build bigger barns and put everything in the barns. Here's the zinger, verse 20. Just then God showed up and said, "Fool, tonight you die, and your barn full of goods, who gets it?" This human has a plan to hold tightly to money, but suddenly his life is over. So I have a field trip for you to try this week. Visit a cemetery. Sit. Reflect. Write. See, we all came into this world with nothing, and we're all going to leave with nothing. And in between, God says we are simply managing the resources given to us. Now, during this field trip, you might want to use the Spotify playlist as you worship and ponder and think. Now, don't miss the moral of the story. It's there in verse 15. A person is a fool to store up earthly wealth and not have a rich relationship with God. Our plan to save all we can had better center around relationships. So this week, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I look forward to being together with you next week as we look at the third simple practice about money, give all you can.